Welcome back to the channel for watching these videos as always. So the big news is I've bought a new boat. So if you remember what the buying criteria was I needed something with a much bigger standing room heads compartment. I wanted at least 2 bedrooms, at least 2 engines, preferably outboard if possible. I wanted a rear enclosure, and I wanted a nice white boat. So the new boat, there's my old boat, and that's the new boat. So yes, I've gone for a blue boat. I've gone for the Antares 9 rather than the Merryfisher 895. A couple of things to point out. The reason why I went for the Antares 9, and originally this was up for £120,000, then the buyer dropped it to £105,000, and I made a cheeky offer. We had a small negotiation and we agreed on a number. But what appealed to me was A, had the bow thrust that I wanted, as did all the Merryfishers. It also had the 2 bedrooms, as did the Merryfishers. But this had the 2 200 horsepower Suzukis, which is what I really wanted. And apologies, it's, as you can see, it's not been out of the water for 18 months, albeit for the survey, so it does need a good clean, and I've tried to wash some of the salt off from the way round. But the other thing that really appeals to me over the Merryfisher is just the look. Whilst this has the air step hull, so basically it channels the air down this little one here to create lift in the stern. The bit that really does push me, you can see the little air step there. The bit that really does appeal to me is the styling of the top hat of the boat. So the Merryfisher was much flatter and looked a bit more, let's call it everyday kind of wheelhouse. I just like the style, the sportiness of the arc of that side part. I like the style of the rear of the wheelhouse as well. So yeah, I think style wise it's just edges the Merryfisher 895, which was still an equally good boat, but the 200 horsepower engine is what I really wanted. And the fact it's got stern thruster, which I will show you. You can see I've already taken the anchor off. Needs a good clean, but there's 35 metres of rope and 25 metres of chain there. I'm not sure where the previous owners thought they were going to be anchoring. Maybe shallow part of the Atlantic or something. So yeah, actually what we do, we go around this way because you can see my old boat has been put in the same place in the yard next to my boat. So now you can see the difference. I know they're on slightly different size barrels, but you can see the size difference of the boats. That's 7.2 meters, that's 9.1 meters, but it has so much more volume in the deeper V with that air step hull. But let's go on board and have a look. So all of this stuff here, by the way, is from my old boat. The owner is completely remodelling all that, and I will get a video of it to show you. But let's just quickly go on my boat here, my new one. So as you can see, you've got trim tabs, an oyster or something there that's coming off, but trim tabs, stern thruster as well. Again, apologies for the state, it really does need a good clean, inside and outside. I've started the inside. Ooh, Case Guard helicopter over there. I did take this boat out for blast yesterday before we lifted it, and it took no effort at all to get up to 27 knots. 27 knots on my other boat, it would do it. but it took a bit of effort to get there, and it would only do 30 on a lovely flat day like today with no wind and a completely dry bottom. So as you come into here, what we got, again, I like the fact, just like the Mary Fishers, these chairs slide back. This one has a transom shower, got to change the cap on that, that's broken. So, lovely bit of storage there. More storage under here. But again, you'll see that absolutely everything needs a clean. And what I will do, I think you saw on the previous walk around video, you have a compartment for the gas cylinder. This walkway was all green. I've tried to give it a brief clean down, but the problem is we've got water leak in the yard, so the water's been turned off, which is a bit of a pain. But let me just grab the keys so that I can open this. Let's have a look in here. Is that open? From over here, perhaps. So you have this huge storage under here, which needs to be cleaned. So this will be spotless by the time I've finished it. So you have your batteries under here. Not my yours, but I'll keep it for the time being. I just need to figure out a way to hook up some kind of storage in here. These look like they're wooden, so I might see if I can do something there. Right, loads of storage, somewhere to put the paddle board. Let's get here. Oh, and I should have mentioned actually, you have the ability to get to the tank, petrol tank, under here and through here, and then the fuel filters are in there each side. So one tank each side on this boat. Okay, let's get up again. See, it's all on gas front, so a good solid push. Now, let's go inside. So another selling point for me over the Mary Fisher was, it sounds silly, but the colour of these units. So on the Mary Fishers, they were all wooden, with a wooden top. I just think this just looks so much better. Let's just close this off for a second. Yeah, all this is soft close. To the point, it's not closed, but everything needs to be oiled and everything. You have your brand new microwave in there. Fridge, Again, you'll see everything needs a clean here. Giving this a small once over, just to get, because there's a lot of scum around here with this. I think the surveyor said on his survey that some of the pipe work from the gas bottle storage outside needs to be changed, so we'll look to do that. Now this is interesting. This plug here has been converted, I'm not sure if you saw it, and I should have pointed out more, and the storage area. There's an inverter in there, and that inverter is for this, so that this is a 12 volt kettle that can now run from here. So you have all your lights, obviously. I've taken all the curtains down because they're going to be cleaned, and the ones along this back door here, they need to be taken up slightly because they just drag into the door runners and get grimy. Again, something that my boat there, just there, in fact, doesn't have the forward facing seat, which would then go round, if you remember, like a U shape around the dining table, which was obviously the other way round. There was no backrest, so anyone sitting here, underway particularly, had nowhere to rest the back, so they would often get backache. You've got a backrest here, it does come out. Let me do this. So as you can see, it does come out, so if you want to open that up completely from a view perspective, let's just put this back. You have your leaf table, so if you pull these components out here to extend, and then you'd have your table here, and you have your chair. When underway, you can pull it back the other way, and if you saw that, if I just look at that here, you can see that it elevates the height, so when someone's sitting in there, they can hold on to the roller coaster bar and have a view out. Let's put that back. There's storage under here. And the other thing that I really wanted was a side helm door, which both the Mary Fisher 855 and the 895 had. But the difference with this is, from memory, is that the 895 cleat was over here, but you have the cleat right here next to the helm, which I thought was really cool. Let's go and have a quick look on the top deck quickly. Apologies for the filth. You can see I've got to do the screen, so I'm gonna, when we bring this round, we had a small leak coming in under here, so I'm going to dig all of this out, or have it dug out, and all new Sikaflex put in there that's pretty much level with this, I think, rather than have it recessed like it is. And then I'll get a film, black film, to go over here. Still got to clean this properly. You can see how filthy that is. I need to put pressure washer in there. But you have the remote there, and you have the remote switch on the dashboard. And all of these runners here and these poppers here are for the sunbeds on front. You have drinks holders as well. Window over the fore cabin, and escape hatch for the fore cabin. Pantograph wipers, large sunroof, and 2 windows, and the Rain Marine Quantum. Let's get back inside. You have your fuel shut-off valves there. I need to repair this chair as well. Let's just close this. Because this is broken. So it's sliding forward without doing anything. So I need to sort it out. Then we have the business end. So you have the control mode. Not sure I'll be using that much. Trim tabs, I've used those. You have your twin engine controls. You only have the up and down movement for both engines when you're switching it on this controller, and then obviously you have your forward and reverse gears. But then you physically start, once you've got the key into the ignition down here, you then start them individually on here, and then you can actually trim them individually up and down as you want to. You have your power, switch on the power to the cockpit noise area, to switch on your water pump, your windscreen wipers, and the washer for the windscreen wipers. You have your nav lights for when you're anchoring and everything as well. You've got your valve, your windlass. You have your normal lights for when you're running, and I don't actually know what these ones are here. I would need to actually check that. But then you have your individual readers for each engine. You have your radio. I'm going to have to find somewhere to put this controller, perhaps up here or something. Then you have your bow thruster, and this is what I couldn't figure out when I was doing the original tour, what this was for, but I didn't know the stern thruster. So this is for your stern thruster. You have a window into the bedroom here. You have cup holders. Again, very dusty because I had lots of towels with us to demist the screen when we brought the boat round. It was about -3 or 4 when we brought it round, so it was constantly frosting and misting up. You have your compass. And now I started to make a small impact on cleaning down here. So if I start off at the bow, forward cabin, bit of storage under here, all cleaned, and then you have access to the bow thruster in there, and the bow thruster battery as you need it, but it is locked into the and tapped into the actual main electrical supply of the boat. So this is more just more of a backup. Let's say it will run as soon as you've got your engines on, but that is all nice and clean. That was a bit dirty when I first got it. Giving everything a good clean around. So you have your reading lights, you have your covers, but they need a clean. I've seen that, missed that. You have access to your windscreen wipers and motors in here, and the pipe work for the squirties, and the squirties are in the bathroom. You have lights and power down here, storage all along the sides, both sides. You have your hanging locker there, just chucked in life jackets for the time being, and then you have your slide door, goes across like so. And then this is the bit that makes me feel like it's a bit of a super yacht, where you have your screen, your kind of natural lighting through this window, through the front of the windscreen. I really like that. It's one of the things that appealed to me both on the on this boat and the Merryfish 895 actually. I really like that feature. Now, I started to make a bit of a clean up job in here. This was, oh, it's filthy again. Got to figure out where that's come from then, because I cleaned that completely. That was lovely and clean. So there's got to be something coming from there. I need to figure that one out, because that was, I was going to show you, it was spotless. Any Antares 9 experts watching this video, give me your thoughts as to why that's happening. Another from the drinks holders there. you can see that light coming in. So you have some storage in here in the second bedroom. You have all the pads. I've given it a bit of a clean here, but I do need to take these out because these covers were slightly damp. So they can come out, absolutely. Bear in 1 second. There you go, there. So, you have your light switches here. Nice bit of storage, and you can't quite see it in the dark over there, but there's a panel over there where you can actually then change the valve to stop the black water from the bathroom going to the storage tank, so you can flush it straight out. And you've got some other systems in there which I'll take a better look at when I get a chance. You have my rear enclosure, and that's actually another major component we'll tell you about in a second, which appeals to me on this boat. But as you can see, this area is a good double berth here, and you've got a nice bit of room if you want to sit up here in bed. Obviously you head this end, but if I stand in here, you can see there's enough room for me, and I'm 5'7", 5'8", something like that. So let's just take that and bring that back to there. And then we have the head compartment, which was a major thing we wanted. So we wanted it standing room, and as you can see, loads of standing room. So this is about 6'1", I think, according to the specs. So nice space. Coat hook. You can obviously put this down if you want to get ready on here. And then if I look behind the door, you have access to the dashboard, you have your towel holder, and in here you have your toilet roll, and you have the squirties just there for the windscreen wipers, and you have access to systems and the stopcock for the water inlet. You can see that there. And then you have the pull out, yeah, for the tap. And obviously this is a wet head, so you have to drain in the corner. Super duper. So I'll finish the tour standing here, because again this is something that makes me feel like it's a little mini super yacht for me. Just the fact that we've got these 3 doors next to the helm to go down to the lower deck. I really like that. I loved it on the 895 Mary Fisher and on the 855 as well. But so for me, the top hat, the top part of this boat is what swung it for me, along with the 200s. Yeah, I just think it's a better looking style of boat. But I do love that. It's my little mini super yacht look. But the bit I was going to talk to you about, the enclosure actually, when I looked at both the 855 and the 895 Mary Fisher, and just to be clear, I put in an offer for an Antares 9 in Devon in the summer, but due to a family emergency, we agreed a really good price for the boat actually, which would have made it cheaper than this one. Same year, but in white and with less hours. And the boat in Devon had less than 100 hours on each engine. This boat had, I think it's got about 148 or 158 hours, and I've now done about 4 hours with the sea trial, bringing it around and going for a blast yesterday. I've probably got about 4 hours on it so far. But sorry, let me go back to the boat in Devon. So it had everything on it. It did have a bit of damage on the rear of the cockpit that needed to be completed as well, but it wasn't major. But yeah, the thing that really appealed to me over all the boats I've seen is that on the on the 855 and the 895, and even on the other Antares 9 that I saw it through the pictures, is that some people call it the camper cover, cockpit enclosure, but effectively they all had metal frames that necessitated having frame sticking out or frame coming off the rear part of the wheelhouse roof that have to be taken down and things like that, especially if you want to do fishing. This cover is completely different. It literally slides into this rail here, if you can see it, just there, slides all the way around, and then it just comes straight down over the back of this rail here, and is then secured through these little fixings here. So when you look at it, when it's up, and I will get some pictures of it when I do put it up, once I've started cleaning everything properly, once the water's put on again. Once I've cleaned all this and I put that cover on, it just makes it look a bit like a bit of a super yacht silhouette to it. So that really appeals to me. No faff or hassle trying to get the awning off. It literally slides straight out of this rail up here and done. Whereas on the old boat, if you remember, there was like a frame on here, and when you weren't using it, you had to have it slide through that rail there, and then it zips around part of the frame, and then you have to have the straps holding it down to the rear, stop it moving about. And if you wanted to do fishing, you had to get it out of the way. If you didn't want to take the canvas off, you then had to rope or tie along the bar here, put a rope round to hold the frame back, otherwise it would just be laying down bouncing on the engine, which then meant trying to get on the side decks was even more of a nightmare. So for me, this boat ticked a lot of boxes for me, and it still does. And having taken it out even yesterday, I think it's the right decision. Just the power of the engines, it's superb. So look, I'll try not to be too smiley about it, because I've got work to do. As you can see, I've now found that there's some water getting down into that bilge down there that I need to sort out. I'm not well sure where that's coming from. I need to figure that one out. But otherwise, I'm a pretty happy bunny. I'm hoping this is going to be my keeper. I've already got the engine's going to be serviced in about a month's time. So I'll have about maybe 2 months or so to get the boat ready before it goes back into the water. But now what's going to follow after this video is my video of my sea trial, the video of me bringing the boat round, which was terrifying, let me tell you, and also a brief video of me lifting the boat out yesterday. So they'll follow after this, but I wanted to let you see the boat first. But this is my new boat. I'm going to change the name because I don't like that, but you'll see all those things happening and all these changes occurring as we go. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you've got any suggestions about where that water in the bilge is coming from, let me know as well, and I'll try and source that back as well. Take care. Bye bye.